Merry Christmas and happy early full moon. The full moon will occur tomorrow, December 26th, in Cancer. The exact time is 4:32 Pacific time. It will be the fullest. Here on the East Coast, that is 7:32. I think. I'm not entirely sure of the time difference. I think it's 3 hours. What's being illuminated? Also, happy Capricorn season. This full moon is titled Divine Yourself. Full moon in Cancer. And this was written by Sara Faith Gottessdiener, the same person who does the Many Moons Planner that I consistently read out of and adore. All right, I will read the very last article in this planner. Made it through the year, went the whole year, and I did this. I didn't always make these videos just because the people I'd send them to, I think people read them, but I think a lot of people didn't. So in this way, you have the option to listen. Because I want everyone to feel these words. There's some insights in here, and it's beautiful. There's truly magic in the moon. I have my crystals here on my altar, and I have sage that I was going to burn, but my lighter is defunct. So I have some like pent up energies in here that I can't find the working lighter, but that's fine. All right. Divine yourself. Full moon in Cancer. The year ends similar to how it began, with a full moon in Cancer, fitting for this close to our chariot year. Themes of place, homecomings, belonging, trust, imagination, spiritual fulfillment, and rewriting ancestral narratives will all bubble up at this time. Many archetypes in the tarot have to do with belonging. Most spiritual traditions are concerned with this, for when we belong to ourselves, we know ourselves. And when we know ourselves, it's easiest to carry out Spirit's will. The process of figuring out what is in spiritual alignment for us is also called divination. It's not necessarily what will happen in the future that is as important as who we have become once we get there. The Chariot teaches us that divination is found in living, in taking action, and in the courageous act of self-actualization. Full moons are optimal for divinatory practices, as all levels and layers of our consciousness can be illuminated with the most ease. This is one of the reasons why folks can get overwhelmed at this time, It's a challenge and a confrontation to experience the information revealed from within, or the future, or the subtle realms, or our guides and angels. All of our parts awaken, open, and communicate with us. We open up to support from all realms as we come home to ourselves. On this full moon, divine yourself. You predict the future by becoming it. You predict the future by becoming it. I'm going to highlight that. Divination unites our personal will with the will of the divine. The etymology of the word divinaire means inspired by God or a God. When we are tapped into something greater than ourselves, miracles take place. One of the greatest spiritual teachings of the Chariot is to experience divination in movement through change as you utilize your particular gifts to unite your will with divine will. Most spiritual traditions emphasize the practices and tools that help us do so. The Chariot underscores the qualities that must be cultivated during this process. Allowing Spirit to support you takes trust. Acknowledging the areas where you must grow takes vulnerability. To surrender control, the ego, the thinking mind, resistance, and so on, takes belief. Letting go takes courage. The Chariot is an emblem of belonging because it shows us how to navigate conflict, especially inner conflict. Paradox being one of the themes of the Chariot. We are asked to think of conflict and battles in a different way. The more open-hearted we are, the more protected we are. The more external armor we are occupied with, the less time we'll have to make a home inside ourselves. The more external armor we are occupied with, the less time we'll have to make a home inside ourselves. When our motivation includes spiritual growth, doors open. One does not ask, will I be able to complete my journey, but rather, how will I navigate my journey in the ways that honor both myself and my spirit? Our spirits are limitless, existing beyond the mind, beyond the mundane, beyond linear time. While our self can understand this, it's easy to forget about non-linear time and infinite possibilities once we are consumed by the real world. If we aren't careful, skeptical aspects of ourself can block the songs of our spirit. Your dream will only ever include hard things because it is there that we locate our courage, integrity, adaptability, and growth. This transformation is the point of the dream. And within the dream are the essences, energies, processes, and experiences to explore. Something being challenging is never a reason not to do it. Something being challenging is never a reason not to do it. A challenge is often a confrontation with self, which is an opportunity to accept ourselves. After this acceptance can come a clearer look at the reality we are in, so that we might construct the reality we'd most like to reside in. So much of what we experience depends on how we choose to perceive it. It's imperative, before beginning any new endeavor or phase, to check in with your spirit for support and guidance. There are often answers and guidance there that your current self cannot access. Because time is nonlinear, the way to your dream, which is a north star of your transformation, will never be a straight path. It includes where you are going, sure, but it also includes where you have been. It includes who you were as much as who you will become. Your dream includes your inner child, inner teenager, and also your wiser future self. The one who has already gone through what your present self is going to embark on. Trust that you can reparent yourself. Trust that you've got the right tools and use them regularly. Trust that when a trigger or resistance or hard feelings come up, you can confront, acknowledge, and clear them. Feelings don't control us when we collaborate with them. Our feelings are time travel vehicles helping us to put compassion into practice. By giving ourselves what we need, we give all ourselves what we needed. Clearing up how we feel about and relate to the past is important to a divinatory process because it releases so much trapped energy. One way to call back our power is to reinterpret the past. Reinterpreting our past establishes our personal power because it communicates to our subconscious that we possess conscious choice. Telling different stories about what happened or what is happening highlights how many possibilities there are now. Spirit-led interpretation and then the implementation of that interpretation is how the witch, the mystic, forges their path. Look back and recount all the times that the divine intervened, that your spirit protected you. That support will only continue. Be who you most needed at your most vulnerable. This will break spells of abandonment, betrayal, and scarcity. Memorize feelings of safety and normalize the art of self-love and watch your world catches up to reflect it. At this full moon, you may wish to have a dialogue between self and spirit in hopes of aligning them even more. You may wish to time travel by way of trance, past reinterpretation, or emotional collaboration. You may wish to cast spells that reinterpret your past and reinvent your future. Maybe it's time to recommit to coming back home to yourself, to belonging to a world of your own creation. Below are some affirmations for you to play with. Happy full moon. I vow to love and appreciate all the iterations of myself I will be rebirthing and experiencing, as grateful as a swan, as wobbly as a colt. I stay devoted to all my rebirths. I vow to hold my own hand while I scale mountaintops. Through deaths, disappointment, through failed risks, and while celebrating sweet successes and surprising victories. I vow to never forget the tools and technologies that help me navigate my growth. I always learn my lesson the first time because I am attuned to my intuition and my spirit's wisdom. I vow to never abandon or betray myself. I owe it to Spirit, Source, my ancestors, the world, and all of my future selves to become the best me that I can be. I allow myself to become something more beautiful and powerful than I could ever imagine, forged by fire and faith. I vow to prioritize my healing, detach myself through needless suffering, and turn towards the sun. The rays of awareness guide me back to the earth, art, laughter, and radical philosophies. Every day I become closer and closer to the person I needed when I was young. Every day I become more and more the person I was never allowed to be. I vow to experience as much of the splendor of the world as I can before I leave it. I vow to let the world experience me at my most splendid. I want to live in a world that I love, and so I create it. I love myself. I become love itself. All right. Happy full moon.